Well, greetings, and we welcome you in here to another edition of Pros Who Know as Ask Holly. As with the Better Business Bureau, she is the president and CEO, Holly Sammons, as Scott Adams here with you. And today, let's focus on moving.
Yeah.
It's always somewhat of a stressful situation for everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe it's varying degrees, but a successful move. How about some tips to share with our Central Floridian audience rather?
So moving, especially as we come into the summer, summer is peak moving season. And I didn't really understand.
Why is that?
Why is that? Most often it's because children are out of school. And so it's easier for families to relocate, whether it's across town or across the country. Summers typically are the easiest time for people to make their schedules more flexible. That being said, you're also there's more competition during the summer, and so you may see more movers come into a space. You want to make sure that when choosing a mover, because this is already a very stressful time for consumers. I mean, when it comes to on the scale of stress, funerals, weddings, moves are at Better Business Bureau. Those are the consumers we hear from who are really just at their limit because it's so stressful. You certainly don't want to be one of those consumers who finds yourself with all of your belongings held hostage in a truck or in a storage unit because you won't pay the ransom. And so doing your homework up front can help you protect yourself and help you avoid those situations.
So when it comes to investigating certain moving companies, and I like to call it the rule of threes, where you want to try to, if you've got the time, of course, which sometimes we don't always have that with our busy lifestyles, but trying to get quotes from different companies, but at the same time, doing your due diligence in terms of reading some reviews and some past happenings when it comes to what other people have done with that particular moving company.
Right, and you make an excellent point. You want to make sure that you allow yourself as much time as possible. Certainly, if you get into a situation where time just does not permit, you know what? Maybe that's the time that you call Better Business Bureau and you let us help you start with a list of BBB accredited or movers that you can trust. Let us help you with some of that homework. If you don't have the luxury of time, getting multiple estimates is an excellent idea, whether it's moving or almost anything else. You want to make sure that when you have those people come out and give you an estimate, that you're actually having them come on site to give you an estimate. If you're able to simply put in an inventory of your belongings online or maybe giving it by phone, you know, you and I are not professional movers. We are going to grossly underestimate the weight of that, chest and the kitchen table and all those things. We're going to forget about, the dresser in the kids' room or the bureau, things like that. So we are not professional movers. We cannot be trusted to give an inventory online of everything that we have. And so what happens is when you give an inventory online or when you do it by phone, you underestimate what you have. You underestimate how much room it's going to take in their moving truck, the weight, how long it's going to take, all those things. So all those things add up to misunderstandings on the other end. So if they come to load your home into a truck and then you get to the other end of the move and they say, you know what, you're 1,000 pounds over, or you took half of a truck instead of a quarter of a truck or what have you, this is going to be an extra $1,400. You may not have
that is a huge expense to misfire on $1,400.
And you're standing at the back of the truck and this person has their hand out and they say, I've got your stuff.
Right.
So either you pay me, and also they're going to say this was your fault. Read the contract carefully before you sign it. Don't always choose a mover who has the cheapest price. This is one of the areas where you may just get what you pay for.
And I think there's sometimes the fine print that we often sometimes overlook or don't see, because you want to see that final price, but you don't necessarily know what some of those other caveats could potentially be, those add-ons.
This is one of the areas where you want to read the fine print. You want to read the contract. If you don't see the contract until moving day, delay, shame on you. Ask for ahead of time. Ask all the questions you have ahead of time. If the company won't answer your questions ahead of time, if they will not provide you the contract ahead of time, these are all red flags that you should not ignore, because when they have your belongings either in their truck or moved into a storage unit, you are essentially a hostage at that point, and you will regret all the homework you didn't do. So, do yourself a favor, do it up front.
And I think asking questions, oftentimes we can sometimes be a little bit shied off or a little bit nervous to ask certain questions.
You don't want to be a pain.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right. So knowing more up front and doing that homework, as we say, getting those questions answered, it'll give you peace of mind, and then they'll also be accountable at the end of the day.
Because guess what? If they're not going to answer the phone to answer your questions or send you over the contract to make you feel better so that you can read the contract, then what's going to happen when you have problems? Do you think they're going to answer the phone? Do you think they're going to be responsive? No. So you want to make sure that you look to make sure not only are they properly licensed, and what is their reputation here in Central Florida? What do complaints say? What do customer reviews say? Because chances are you can read those complaints, you can read how the company responded, and get a better feel for which company may be a good fit for you. You schedule them, you have them come out, give you an estimate. You will determine after, if you allow yourself 3 estimates, you will begin to determine which company you just feel right about.
Right, because sometimes it's a gut feeling when you talk to another person, and that's exactly what ends up happening when you get that's why that rule of 3s always applies, and not just this scenario, but in so many other.
Well, and you start to be able to see, is there kind of some fluff that you can cut through? Because sometimes a company will come out and give you an estimate, and they will give you some kind of insight into the industry. And they may say, if you're offered this or this, understand that's just an add-on. You don't really need that. Whereas the next company who comes in, they may really make you feel like that is an absolute necessity. Yeah. And so you start to kind of understand what's important to you. What elements of protection are important to you. And that reminds me that when it comes to protecting your valuables, you want to make sure that you understand that the chest of drawers or the mirror that you consider a family heirloom and that you consider very valuable to the mover is just another mirror. It's just another chest of drawers. So you want to make sure that you protect your valuables. And if they are things that cannot be replaced, remember, they cannot be replaced. Right. No amount of insurance is going to repair them. No amount of insurance is going to replace them. You also want to read the fine print to understand, are they going to reimburse me based on weight? So essentially, if a 200-pound mirror breaks, are they going to reimburse me based on the value of the mirror, or are they going to reimburse me, based on the weight of the mirror? You're not going to replace valuables. You're not going to replace family heirlooms. Protect those yourself.
And that's why it's so easy to log on to the Better Business Bureau, because you guys have done the homework.
Yeah.
You've done it all in the beforehand, and so you've got this at your fingertips, this knowledge. So I'll paint that picture for you. So you've gone on to bbb.org and you've started to select a couple different vendors. You've made your phone calls. You've done your homework, and so moving day finally gets there, and there's situations that will sometimes arise that we can prevent. Can we not?
Yeah, and you want to make sure that you understand also the difference between a broker and a mover. Someone who brokers your move, they are not going to be the one who handles your move. They are going to broker off to a mover, at almost like a commissionable sale. Yeah. So you want to make sure that you understand the difference. You want to make sure that if it's important to you that you choose the mover, that you go directly and choose the mover, as opposed to going through a broker where they essentially are the one who are going to select the mover. You want to make sure that when moving day comes, before your belongings are loaded onto the truck, that you're completely comfortable with this situation. Because once your valuables, once your bed and your life goes onto that truck,
you're putting a lot of trust into somebody else's hands to make sure that this is going to go smoothly. So when you move into your new place, that everything is the exact way that you want it to be.
Yeah, check the company's license before they come to move you. Ask questions that are important to you. Ask, are these your employees? Are you hiring labor, or are these your employees? If that's important to you as a consumer, ask the question first. When the unmarked box truck pulls up to your home, or a rented truck pulls up to your home with movers who are not wearing labeled shirts, and you start to question, do these guys really know what they're doing? It may be too late. So ask the questions first.
Yeah, these situations have popped up, from years and years,
Right.
and that's why the Better Business Bureau is such an asset that we've got. And guess what? It's also free to jump
Yeah.
on there and get knowledge. It's easy for me to ask Holly questions. It's also easy for you to ask questions, not just about moving, but all the other dealings that we talk about on so many of our different episodes. Ask Holly at WKMG.com as we can get some questions coming your way. Is there any other moving potential pitfalls that we should maybe let people in on?
One thing that's really interesting, that's kind of a light, if there is anything light and fun about moving. I spoke to a mover one time, and he said, and we'll leave you with this: don't overload the box.
Okay.
Don't pack a box that is so heavy it's hard to move, because guess what? That box is not strong enough to protect the contents that you've loaded it down with. Okay. It's going to fall apart. What's inside is going to come out. And so, many lightweight boxes are better than fewer heavy boxes.
And I will say this too, Holly. When you say professional movers,
Yeah.
they know exactly
That's right.
what they're doing, because I've moved on several occasions trying to do it myself. This last time, we hired the movers, and they are in and out, lickety split. They
Right.
have it down to a science, especially when it comes to some of those big pieces of furniture that you think you can move, you can't move.
Yeah, and hiring a professional, sometimes it takes a stressful situation and makes it a little less of a burden. To your point, professional movers, they know how to pack a truck. You and I may load a truck and we have to make several different trips, whereas a professional mover, they can load that truck one time, fill it safely, and just take that truck across town one time. So, you have to determine, is this something we can do? Are we already stressed to the max? If you can afford, the white glove service, sometimes it's really money really well spent, but you want to make sure that you're choosing a company who has done their homework. They've hired employees who can protect your goods, make your move as smooth as possible. It's a lot of money to make a move. It's a lot of money to buy a home. All these things are things, if you do the homework the first time, hopefully we can make that whole transaction a little bit smoother.
More helpful tips, and it's so easy to log on to the Better Business Bureau website, bbb.org, as she's Holly, and we'll have more tips and tricks for you here throughout the course of time as another edition of our Pros Who Know. Ask Holly.